Chiefs are going to be the worst people ever. They're going to be so bad if we don't take an edge early.
Well, Garrett, I caught you at a really good time because welcome back, watchers and listeners, to Talkin Chop. It's been so long since we've done an episode of this show. I've been busy doing some production work and stuff, and I got a new job. Garrett has actually had more time on his hands due to the offseason for coaching, but he's nevertheless been busy as ever. Our associate producer, Jackson Steele, is also here in the lobby with us. And guys, we have a lot of offseason news to talk about that's already occurred because the Chiefs offseason has not been quiet whatsoever, Garrett. I know this offseason feels longer than ever because it feels like it started all the way back in December, but we got some big news that we haven't talked about on this show yet, and we got some new, fresher news that not many other people have talked about yet because it came out today. I mean, let's start with some of the news that just came out today so we can just, get that out of the way.
Just get it out of the way.
Mike Danna is gone. Now, I feel like that was one of the moves that everybody knew was going to have to happen because he had an $8 million cap hit and $8 million were immediately freed up by cutting him.
And the performance was not there anymore.
It wasn't, and it sucks. I feel like he was underrated and kind of good. I was really shocked, actually, that we signed him because I thought he was one of those players that was like Tershawn Wharton that was going to get a bag somewhere else. Like Nick Algoretti. It was a role player that we weren't going to be able to afford to keep and that we shouldn't pay.
They showed too much, and then other teams noticed they were going to offer him contracts, and we thought he was going to be gone as well. We decided to, give him the bag instead. And, I wouldn't say the return of investment has been great.
No, it hasn't. And I feel like part of that is due to the injury he sustained, and maybe he lost a step, but nevertheless, I'm happy for Danna and his contributions because he was really underrated in that Super Bowl run. But
hey, two-time Super Bowl champion. You got to give it to the guy. But it's just
he did play
one of the casualties of the cap war.
Exactly. He was not worth the money, but hell, when he was on that rookie deal, he was really good. I feel like he was better when he was not getting paid. So it tends to happen sometimes. So you make some decisions and you make some misses. So that's like the only like main news that just happened today. Everything else, rumors, speculation, combine, coaching hirings and stuff like that. But let's get some housekeeping done, Garrett. Like, welcome back to the show. What have you been up to since we've last done this episode? And do we want to go into our sponsored segment after that?
I mean, honestly, I've just been on that work grind. Obviously, the season, at least for high school football, had ended a long time ago. But recently went to a coaching clinic up in Kansas City. That was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of good football. Had some speakers from Notre Dame that I listened to, some from West Virginia State. So great time going out there. Met a lot of coaches, learned a lot of ball, and ready to get back at it.
Damn. And yeah, Garrett over here says offensive line coach is his little tag subhead right there. But yeah, he's currently high school offensive coach, and good insight he brings on this pod for those newer listeners that we might be getting. We're calling this season 3, episode 1, Garrett, because now it's a new season.
It is.
I feel
it
like.
really is.
It's
it's really blown by. I feel like. I mean, we're close to 50 episodes now total. Yeah. This will be, the first episode of season 3, and it'll be a good one, I think. This will be a very interesting offseason, and I think there's a lot of promise when it comes to the Chiefs' future.
So obviously, like, I still live in Texas, so I'm surrounded by fans of other teams, and Austin is a transit city, so, like, I see people, like, a lot of Bears fans, Packers fans, such, and it's like, they all ask me, like, how's it feel to suck this year? And I'm like, dude, I honestly am so excited to suck. I'm so happy that we can have an offseason where we really get to rebuild. And that was echoed by Brett Veach in his presser today in the Combine, where he said that the last 3 years, we've kind of been band-aiding problems and doing insta-fixes to kind of make sure that we can continue to sustain the success that we had. But now he's like, we get to rip it apart and rebuild and retool. And that is exciting to hear because that's exactly what the fans are asking for. We know that if we want to make another run, we got to kind of do it with a whole different group of guys. Because, hell, I love Kelsey. I love Chris Jones. I love everybody that has been a part of this run, but it's time for some new guys.
Right. And it's like, we're going to have, our leader at quarterback for probably 8 more years. And are we really going to have Chris Jones and Kelsey for all those 8? No. So we have to prep for the future. of not having those guys. And I saw a really interesting comment that I honestly fully agreed with when I read it, and it was about the Mahomes restructure, which obviously that just happened. He freed up a ton of cap space for us, but we're kicking that can consistently down the road. And someone said to all the people being like, "Oh, this isn't great. Like, we're gonna have to deal with this eventually." That's the key word, eventually, right? Like, yeah, we're gonna be terrible in 2033 or 2032, whenever these cap hits are hitting us from Mahomes' initial contract. But these years that we're going to be in his prime, just in our Super Bowl window, we're going to win as many as we can. I am totally fine being the worst team in the league in 2023 if it means winning right now.
You mean in 2033?
Yeah, 2033, yeah.
But I see your point too. And also we have to think about this. That's 7-8 years down the line, Garrett. The cap has been going up every year by a lot. By the time that we're down in 2033, is $70 million a year not going to be crazy for a quarterback? It might not be crazy for a quarterback in the future. And also they can always, extend him, and then it also fixes the problem later. It's a unique contract where it's such a long contract that there's really a lot of flexibility and a finagling that can be done with it. It's a great contract, and I think Mahomes is getting the payday he deserves. And
I mean, dude, like if they showed up to my front door and was like, "Hey, you just need to sign this, and you get $45 million right now instead of later," I'm taking it right now.
Oh yeah, well, and the whole contract as a whole, you get $500 million. Like, oh yeah, whatever you say, boss, I'll sign that thing.
And he's probably making more from all of his contracts and deals, and all these people are saying, "Oh, I don't think Mahomes is gonna end his career a Chief." He owns like half the businesses in Kansas City. I don't know what people are talking. Like, he has stakes in the Royals, in
he literally brought a fast food chain from his hometown, Whataburger, to Kansas City. He said, "I'm going to be here for a while, and I love Whataburger, so I'm going to buy part of Whataburger stock, and I'm just going to put Whataburger in KC." That is a baller move. Like, I wish I could do that.
He has ownership stakes in basically everything in Kansas City, but everyone's like, "Oh no, he won't end his career a Chief." Yeah, okay, buddy, whatever you say.
Well, he's getting sued for his 50.
I did hear about that. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
So BS. What was it? It was
it's like some shoe store
brand. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're just trying to get a bag, and I feel like Mahomes is going to be like, "Okay, here's my $50 million lawyer, and here's some gift cards to 1587. Have a nice dinner, and go away."
Garrett, you're right. This already is a fantastic episode. I think we haven't lost a step, and it's just great to talk to you again, and just. Man, dude, what an exciting offseason. But we're talking about changes. We're talking about the future. Garrett, you said that Kelsey and Chris Jones are not going to be here for the foreseeable future for our generations and whatever, the Super Bowls in the future. Andy Reid might not also be there for those. So putting a guy like Eric Bienemey back at offensive coordinator might not only be a play just for these next couple seasons. Let's bring back a good offensive coordinator that we know will establish the run game, that we know will get the best out of our guys who've been maybe slacking off last season or not being as committed, not being as bought in as they could have been. That's a head coaching characteristics. And maybe Eric Bienemey can't stick at other places, but maybe he takes over for Andy Reid when he retires. Because honestly, you got to have Mahomes approve of the next head coach after Andy Reid. So I love this Eric Bienemey hire. I know we said, it would be fun to get a new offensive coordinator like Mike McDaniel. Actually, you didn't say you didn't like that idea. So whatever. But like some other minds outside of the Andy Reid tree.
Bienemey was one of my top picks. Obviously, in a perfect world, I think Shieldhouse would have been phenomenal. But I mean, he just got promoted to offensive coordinator for the Rams,
which is genius. I mean, he might take over for Sean McVay.
He might you never know, man. So I obviously would have loved him, but I think Bienemey was probably one of our best choices. And leading into that, Demarco Murray, we brought him as our new running backs coach, and I've been seeing a lot of talks about the run game wasn't that successful, in his college stick, right? But in my eyes, what was Eric Bienemey coaching for Chicago?
The running back room.
Running backs. Who is going to be in the room when you're hiring your next running backs coach?
I mean, exactly.
Your offense coordinator, like, he trusts him. He knows the process. There's been reports that, DeMarco Murray is like, he's not a player's guy. He's going to hold people accountable. He's going to, really get into our players. And that really fits Eric Bienemy's coaching style.
And maybe that's why
they're not yes men.
And maybe that's why it didn't work at OU, because with NIL, like you have a lot of college players who just think they're above everything and they're above coaching. So you might have had like the reason Jaden Ott started sucking was because he didn't buy into what
there's
Demarco
300
Murray
different
was
reasons
selling.
when it comes to like a football program that, you know, a certain part of the either the run game, pass game can go wrong, right? And it's not all down to coaching. Sometimes it is, you know, like I blame a lot of our offensive, you know, dunces and games on Matt Nagy, but that's just because I think he's terrible. But we don't need to worry about him anymore. Good luck, Giants. But regardless,
That
I
was
think DeMarco
crazy.
Murray. I think DeMarco Murray is going to be a great hire. I trust, especially Bienemy when it comes to running backs. He was phenomenal for the Bears. I mean, he made that tandem just go absolutely insane. And I'm really hoping whoever we have at running back next year can follow suit.
Ooh. And you know what's funny, Garrett, too, about that whole like Nagy thing? He almost didn't even get a job. Like he almost didn't get any single offensive coordinator job. So I mean, the Chiefs campaign to get him a head coaching job. I mean, Andy Reid and company did their best to try to like put a good light out for him. They
Pretty
don't
much
like
the same
to.
thing we did with Nagy.
I mean, no, with Nagy, that's what I'm saying. Or you mean with Bienemey, like the first
Yeah.
time? Yes.
Yeah.
It was a quiet firing, I feel like, for Nagy, and they try to do their best to, you know, set him up for success and not say, "Oh, we fired
Like,
you."
yeah, I know
so-
this guy's great. You know, he's been doing so good for us, even though we've had statistically the worst offensive years we've ever had since he took over. But hey, the guy can run an offense. I mean, he's had the best quarterback in a decade, but and we sucked. So, you know, let this guy run your offense.
Still won Super Bowls. Still won Super Bowls though. So appeared
Very
in
true.
one and won one.
Very
under
true.
Nagy. So there you go, Super Bowl champion Matt Nagy. Can't take that away from him. Yeah. To close out the DeMarco Murray thing real quick though, at least he's a damn running back, because our old running backs coach was not a running back and therefore shouldn't have been coaching. But Garrett, now we get to go to our next positional coach that I think that we could be the most excited about, because anybody coming into this position was going to be an upgrade over the old coach. Welcome, Chad O'Shea, Patriots legendary wide receiver coach, is now the Chiefs wide receiver coach. He did spend the last 5 seasons with Cleveland, dealt kind of a bad hand, honestly, but I think he's produced some pretty decent wide receiver. Like, he's made the most of a situation, because Cedric Tillman looked like a beast for a little bit there before his injury, and Chad O'Shea's made the best of what he got. But now he's coming to KC. We knew, Garrett, that the old guy, Connor Embry, was not respected in the room. You had Worthy talking about how he learned more from DeAndre Hopkins than his own wide receiver coach. We knew Embry knew someone or something, because how does a high school wide receiver coach go straight from high school wide receiver coach to an NFL position? I don't understand.
I think the difference in who we have now is, you know, a stark contrast, because we literally went from the least qualified person to arguably the most qualified person who's had almost 20 years of NFL coaching experience at the wide receiver position, coached through the majority of the Patriots dynasty, you know, turning the likes of Julian Edelman into, you know, this Super Bowl MVP winning wide receiver. So it's like, it's the absolute opposite, and that's what we've needed, right? We need a guy that can control a locker room, figure out what we have at the wide receiver position, and put them in positions to win and you know, be successful on the field, which was probably our weakest point at the position last year. Was just we were putting wide receivers in very niche and selective boxes where it's like, you are our streak guy, you are our streak and deep post guy, right? It's like, you know, I think Tyquan Thornton arguably was one of the best wide receiver we had. We stuck him at number 4 on the depth chart and was like, you're running goes, buddy. That's all you're doing.
That's all you do. And he showed in the preseason game that he would be really good in that RPO quick out game. So I really hope we re-sign him. We're definitely going to get into some of those free agent people that we want to bring back absolutely later in the show. But Tyquan Thornton, yes, I agree, Garrett. Stuck in a box like all of our wide receivers. I think Worthy is going to benefit the most from this coaching change. I think Worthy can do so much more.
He has so many skills that were just so unutilized throughout his tenure so far. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, put too much blame or dog on a guy, but it's like when you have an athlete like Worthy and you're making him run routes like he's, you know, 300 pounds, something is wrong, and something is not, you're not doing something correctly either in practice, or you're not giving him the right look, showing him how the defense is going to cover him. And it wasn't a good fit.
So I do have a question for you, since you obviously coach high school football and stuff. Would you say that your wide receiver coach in high school like kind of puts kids in boxes more so because, you know, of the limited talent pool, and kind of like an easier playbook to digest. Would you say that that's
Well, I mean, when it comes to us, it's like, especially in high school level, it's like we're not really coaching based off of matchups. We're coaching to get players into space, right? Like a lot of our plays are designed to have a player be in the open field when they get the ball and let them do the work once they get out of that zone, right? So we're running a lot of like different, mesh concepts. That's a really big one in high school right now. So it's just getting your best players in the best positions they can be at the point of catch and just letting them ride.
Yeah. So cool to hear the different philosophies. I'm so excited for Chad O'Shea to maybe get the best out of this wide receiver room. I'll run through the other hires real quick, and then I think we should still talk about wide receiver room in general because we do have some things to talk about quickly. We got CJ Cox, a defensive quality coach. Nate Pagan from Villanova comes over for an offensive quality coach. We actually got Terry Braden back. He was our assistant D-line coach before last year. We lost him last year. The D-line looked a lot worse. He went to be a defensive coordinator at one of my favorite colleges, Nebraska. He did pretty good as a defensive coordinator, but I mean, he got fired, but now he's back as assistant D-line coach. Sometimes coaches aren't meant to be coordinators and they're meant to be assistants. So I think Terry Braden's a great guy to come back. And then we hired a co-defensive back coach in Andre Curtis. But yes, Garrett, you want to say more on Braden?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to, assistant coaches, right? It's like, I get asked a lot by you guys and, people that I work with. It's like, do you ever want to be, an offensive coordinator? And it's like, I feel like the advantages of working in a specific area, like with a unit, right, is that you get to be more, personalized and more developed towards that specific goal, right? Like, for me, it's like if I was an offense coordinator, I would have to think about 300 billion different things every second when it comes to the game. But like, since I'm working specifically with O-line, I can really break down each individual player and look at their weaknesses, see what they need to, improve on in practice. What drills can I implement during the day, during the week that'll benefit them in the game upcoming, right? So, was he a great defensive coordinator? He was probably okay, but he's just coming back, getting refocused and figuring out what he can do best as a coach.
And I actually did misspeak. I didn't mean to say defensive coordinator. He was their D-line coach, and now he's going to assistant D-line coach. So
Gotcha.
A little bit different than what you talked about, but I mean, still very true for some of these other positional coaches and changes that we're doing. But I mean, you don't have an assistant offensive line coach, I assume, at North, right?
No.
Or do you?
No.
Okay, yes. You don't have that luxury to understand. But hey, wide receivers, Garrett. Let's get back right into that talk. We were talking about Chad O'Shea. Obviously, all the wide receivers that the Chiefs have on contract are only 3. We have Xavier Worthy, we have Jalen Royals, and we have Rashee Rice, who unfortunately did a thing again. And it's just kind of getting to a point where we're going to probably have to prepare that he isn't going to be there. The Chiefs did release a statement on this.
One off season, man. That's all I'm asking for. One off season where we don't have to deal with a wide receiver doing something stupid.
Yeah. And I know that innocent until proven guilty and all that, but there is definitely evidence to say that something happened. Something happened.
I believe it was either Schefter or Nate came out today that he basically said, hey, the Chiefs basically should.
Yeah.
Nate Taylor basically came out and he said the Chiefs should basically be looking at this as already suspended for maybe 10 to 12 just due to him being a repeat offender.
Yeah. And so that leaves a question in terms of personnel and stuff outside of all that. We need a wide receiver again. Will that be addressed in the draft? Will it be addressed in free agency? There's a lot of cool names that I like, but a lot of them are going to get paid top dollar. I like Wendell Robinson, but he's 5'8" and a slot receiver. But that could be fun. I don't know what Chad O'Shea likes. He had 1,000 yards with the Giants last year. He can make big time catches. We saw it for the Giants when they lost Neighbors. Alec Pierce, the top target everybody wants, is pretty much guaranteed to go back to the Colts, but they might lose Michael Pittman, who they say they might cut. Mike Evans is a name that I've seen thrown around a lot. That one I would love. I think that's I would love it.
I feel like he's going to stay with Tampa. I feel like I just don't really see him leaving Tampa Bay and ending his career somewhere else. I mean, he's had so many 1,000-yard seasons. He's been the guy in Tampa forever. And I just don't see even the front office really wanting him to, even have the opportunity to leave.
Well, there is another wide receiver that's been on the market, as you could say, recently released from the Miami Dolphins. Garrett, would you like one more run? With dude, your eye roll was so loud. I have to tell the Spotify listeners that.
Guys, I know everyone's so excited to post photos like these where it's like, oh man, prime Kelsey, prime Hill, prime. It's not primes anymore, fellas. Kelsey's getting up there in age. He's thinking about retirement right now, right? So, like, even if he does come back, it's older Kelsey. It's Mahomes coming off of, a huge injury that we don't know how he's going to perform coming back. And Hill's going to be going out there on a wheelchair. So it's like, even if Hill is ready to go by week 1, which he probably won't be considering the injury, he's not going to be the Hill that we know. There was that report that came out that doctor told him, like, he'll be at 80% speed. He'll never be as fast as he was ever again. Right? So it's like,
yeah, but what I want more from Hill is the fact that he can jump. Like, he has a high catch radius, but that probably also has gone away completely. Like, people underrated the fact that Hill wasn't just a fast guy like Mecole Hardman.
Very athletic,
Hill
explosive.
Could jump. He could jump so high. But here's the other thing, Garrett. We're talking about Rashee Rice. Tyreek Hill ain't exactly Mr. Saint himself either, and has himself another allegation himself as well. So clearly a pattern, and I don't think it's worth the risk right now, given the injury history and the impending legal case again. It's like, do you really want to lose a guy like Rashee Rice for the season and bring back another guy who's going to have some legal problems?
Yeah. I
know the report right now is the Chiefs are monitoring the situation. What that tells me, Garrett, is they'll probably sign him midway through the season. Like, I don't think he's going to be on a team week 1. Maybe. Who knows? I think that a lot of teams are going to wait on him and see how this situation progresses with his injury, with his legal situation, and see if it's worth the risk later in the season. And he might have to sign for a really cheap vet minimum. He might play week 1 for the Chiefs. Who knows? But he won't get signed until after the draft.
It's gonna need to be for an incredibly low amount of money, and even then, it's like, he's gonna miss a lot of training camp, a lot of early on stuff with the team, and it's like, especially I'm obviously since Bienemy came back, maybe the scheme's gonna be more similar to what it was when he was here, but I mean, we've seen players come to get either traded or we sign them, and it just takes them forever to get on the field. So,
I think that might change this year a little bit.
I hope
hopefully.
so, man.
Because I don't know what was keeping D-Hop on the sideline. I mean, you and I theorized it was to defend a draft pick. I mean, and I think it still was, because we did end up getting to defend that draft pick.
It was like 1% less than what was required for him to not give us the draft pick, and we got it. Like, it's a little sus.
Yeah. But then you have other players that we've signed, like Dameon Pierce, who, dude, the Chiefs wished him happy birthday the other day, and I'm like, bro, we didn't even get to play him in our
bro didn't even suit up. It's like, what why are we wishing, like, he wasn't even like, I know the joke is like, oh, a Chiefs legend, Dameon Pierce. The dude didn't even suit up. So
hey, he had 2 carries in the final game of the season when we finally decided, wait, we should use
a guy.
No, we should use our young players that we want to see if they're good or not. And we still didn't use Jalen Royals all that much, which we could talk into. Very good transition again, Garrett. Obviously, this was way earlier in the season that Matt Nagy said on Jalen Royals, which is actually really funny and ironic because now Matt Nagy is gone. But maybe this was what was keeping Jalen Royals from getting playing time, because this is a guy that's going to be on our roster. This is a guy that's going to need to step up and break out next year potentially, and I hope he gets the opportunity to. You want to see more time for him if possible, Nagy says. Some of it is just a numbers thing for him. It's almost like his redshirt year. I'm excited to see what he's got going on these next 3 games and in the future. That's what he said.
Before giving him no touches and no snaps in the game. So a lot hopefully has changed. Maybe Nagy was part of the proponent of saying Royals wasn't ready. Maybe that's a decision Andy Reid trusts Nagy to make. And now I think when it comes to the wide receiver position, though, I think our best chance for adding to the room, obviously, besides maybe a potential lucky free agent signing, is the draft. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think early on, like if it was at pick 9, some guys were gone. I think Lemon is the receiver I like the most up there at that spot. But there's some later round guys that I really like. Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. I think he's going to be a baller.
Dude,
you
he's
could
like
get him
Mike Evans-esque.
late second, maybe third. And then early at like fifth round, there's this guy that I watched him tape on, Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State.
Bro,
Absolute stud. I know I'm getting into draft.
Hey, wait. I will give you this. For all the people about to doubt that Garett just said some freaking North Dakota State guy, he got Jalen Coker out of Holy Cross right as being someone who was good. Garett was scouting CJ Hansen and said, dude, this Holy Cross guy, Jalen Coker, might actually be him too. And he was right on that. So Garett, continue on. Tell me why this NDSU guy is going to be good.
He's just been consistent all throughout his years in college. The kid is 6'3", 210 pounds. He runs like a 4'5", 4'6", and he's just a ball hawk. The dude is just the most. He's had two 1,000-yard seasons straight for North Dakota State. He's averaging, I think he has like 25 touchdowns in 2 years for North Dakota State University.
Jeez,
so
okay,
don't sleep on him, dude. Don't sleep on him.
And that's a FCS school soon. It's an FCS school, so I mean,
maybe there's a reason. They saw that he was a dog. They saw that they can get players out there, and they say, hey, they're ready to go, man. They're ready to go.
But yeah, obviously, I feel like maybe we'll just make a low-end free agent wide receiver signing. I know Josh Palmer is a free agent, and he's okay. Like, I liked him on the Chargers. He was okay on the Bills, but he didn't play much. Like, there's definitely some lower-tier guys that we haven't really looked into yet, Garett, because we didn't really have to until certain things started to happen, and all of a sudden you lose a guy and your wide receiver room goes from pretty great to pretty ass in over one offseason.
Very quickly.
So, that's going to be something that we're going to have to address and change. And yeah, not looking forward to it. You alluded to it earlier, Garett, but running back is also a position that we hope to get a lot more production out of this season. And Travis Etienne is starting to be the guy that's gained a lot of buzz. Breece Hall, unfortunately, looks to be like he's getting tagged by the Jets, and it looks like he will probably sign an extension with the Jets. Tragic, because he actually posted a tweet about how he wants to go to the Super Bowl, and this seems like the opposite of how that you would go about getting one of those things. But, Breece Hall, we could have traded for him for a third-round pick, but then we would have had to pay and extend him. Maybe the Chiefs think Travis Etienne is going to be a little bit cheaper. His pass blocking grade is what I've been seeing thrown around a lot, and he is the highest pass blocking grade of all the free agent running backs. He also adds a dimension of catching the football out of the backfield, which we have not had in a little bit now, which has been kind of tragic. I mean, Pacheco is not a receiver out of the backfield, and Kareem Hunt sure as heck isn't anymore. He was in his youth. Man, he was so good in his youth, but not anymore. Now
that's one of the biggest what-if stories, I think, in Kansas City history.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. I saw like a tweet the other day, and someone goes, kids today are going to grow up thinking Kareem Hunt was just a really good short yardage back. They're not going to know about his prime.
They don't know about rookie or Kareem, man.
No, they don't. But, I mean, here's the Breece Hall tweet. I found it, actually, but I hope I get to experience football on this stage. Everything.
He is living in the worst nightmare of all time, man. I feel so bad for Breece Hall. I think like that's what football players have nightmares of. Is like waking up and it's like I just had a dream where I'm getting franchise tagged by the Jets.
Yeah.
And it's just terrible.
The other thing too is yes, Etienne is going to be an older back. I can't believe he's going to be an older back because I feel like it's just yesterday that he got drafted, but he's going to be in like the 28, 29 range, but 27, I think maybe. I know, right? But
God, dude, I feel like an unk. This is insane.
I know, right? And now all the players are younger than us, Garett. Like all these guys in the draft, like. And
yeah, I'm sitting here like watching these guys tape, and I'm like, oh, dude, I used to be younger than these guys. Now I'm watching Chip Trey, and I'm at a Toledo, and I'm like, this kid is just going to be a baller.
Yeah, well, and I will unfortunately bring up some tragic news that's been on my mind a little bit, but with the Rondale Moore and Marshawn Nealon thing, like it's really sad to hear about their passings because they are our age, Garett. Like they are literally our age, and it's just like tragic to think that, it's a tough world out there. If you guys have any friends that you haven't talked to in a while, I would recommend just hitting them up because you never know what they're going through in their personal lives. And I know I always appreciate it when someone random I haven't talked to hits me up out of the blue. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? I remember you. But yeah, so, I just wanted to address that a little bit because
that was a really rough situation to come out very recently. And, hits home for one of our players or, soon to be probably not players in Hollywood Brown.
One of Rondale's
they were really
teammates.
close. And so
Texted him
It's
the
really
day
tough.
of too. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's really tough to hear. And man, I mean, that stuff just makes me sad. But moving on to stuff that makes me happy. More running backs. I know there's a lot of good ones in the draft too that we can talk about. I know Jeremiah Love is a guy that everybody and their mother is talking about getting. I think it's gone to a point, Garrett, where Brett Veach came out today and said some of the best players, some of the elite premium players that we can get are not at premium positions, which implies safety, running back, linebacker, which some of those great players are Josh Downs.
Yep.
Did I say Josh Downs? I meant Caleb Downs. His brother is actually Josh Downs. It's kind of funny, or cousin or something. But Caleb Downs at safety. Then you have Jeremiah Love at running back. And I think Sony Styles, linebacker, is going to make a big leap in the board. And he might not even be available at pick 10 because players that are at non-premium positions but could be elite talents are not, it's worth not passing up on them. So Veach did say that, and then he also said this is a good edge class. So edge, do we get an edge?
Yeah, there's
They're
like 4
me.
players. I think there's 4 in my mind. There's 4 players that I would take before Jeremiah Love at 9.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
There's a lot of good players that will fall to our range, and I'd be happy.
I think there's also people that are like, oh, I would never in a million years take Jeremiah Love. I'm like, let's be very clear. Jeremiah Love is that guy. He's probably he's probably the best player in this draft. Like, we can just be straight up.
Whoa.
He's going to end up probably the most productive player in this draft. But he plays the one position that makes a lot of people nervous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's not even 21. He's been balling ever since he joined college. And it's just, athletically, when you see this guy hit a hole, he's patient, he's explosive, he can run through dudes, and it's
he will not go down. If you guys haven't seen it,
go down.
Google the Penn State goal line carry of his if you have not seen it. He literally just kept bouncing it outside as much as he could, plowing through defenders until he finally got in the end zone. It's
speaking also of Penn State, I think another option if we were not to go Jeremiah Love early on in the draft, I really like Katron Allen from Penn State at the running back position as well.
Oh, later in the draft, not at pick 9.
No, not at pick. Of course not. But later on in the draft, if we decide not to go Jeremiah Love at 9, I think there's plenty of running backs down there that could be serviceable, even good for our team. Katron Allen. I know you like Emmett Johnson a lot.
I love Emmett Johnson.
Really late. You could see a guy like Roman Hemby getting drafted later. You could also see a guy like Chip
like
Trainum.
Roman Hemby too. That's a guy.
Chip Trainum out of Toledo. That's another one of my guys that I'm going to be backing this year. Not a school you often see a lot of people getting mocked from, but
hey, do you know who else went to Toledo? Kareem Hunt. So
yep.
There you
I'm
go.
just saying, he came up on my feed one day, and I'm like, who is this random dude from from Toledo? The dude can ball. I don't know what to say. I was watching Chip Trainum play some ball, and I watched his highlights, watched a little bit of his film. Kid's consistent, had a 1,000-yard season for Toledo, so 12 touchdowns. You got to love to see it, man.
I think our associate producer, Jackson, wants to talk about the coach at Toledo thing because he's an Iowa State fan. I think he has something to say about that. So, Jackson, the floor is yours. Oh,
I
he
think
said
he has
no.
construction going. He's like, no, the construction outside is too loud. I don't want to talk about this. Anyway, regardless, it was an Iowa State coach. He's the biggest Iowa State fan in the world. So we love associate producer Jackson and on Talkin Chop. He's been in the background helping us out. Once we get
making
a little
sure that
stuck
we're
in our
factually
brains,
correct.
Yes, he is our biggest fact checker. The dude knows ball as well. So we're back straight. But yeah, in terms of other
we have
backs,
options. We have options.
We have tons of options.
Here's the thing, Garrett. You could take Travis Etienne for below market value. He might only get $7 million a year, is what I've been seeing. Travis Etienne for $7 million a year, and then draft your boy Chip. Maybe even draft a guy as high as Emmett Johnson. Draft a guy like Roman Hemby later. Love Roman Hemby, dude. I think he's a baller. He kind of got buried on that depth chart at Illinois, but dude, Indiana. Oh my God, Indiana. I see. I saw the Hoosiers logo in my head, but I misspoke.
Yeah.
But thank you for.
You have Kalen Black and Roman Hemby, who are both some pretty talented running backs. So
I thought Hemby was better than Black.
It's the same thing with Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, though, right? So it's like, Penn State had some good running backs. Indiana had some
And
great
you
backs.
like Allen better than Singleton, huh?
I
Because
do.
that was the other thing. Singleton was supposed to be the guy, and now he's a little bit falling. And I think he's still solid. So.
Now, obviously, I think Katron's a little older than Singleton. I think Singleton just turned 21. I think Katron's floating around 23, if I was correct. But still,
But who cares?
I like
Later
the
run running back? Yeah.
yeah. Age when it comes to running back doesn't really matter because their prime is so fast anyway. That like now obviously if you have a super young guy like Jeremiah Love who's going to be around for a long time.
Okay, but I'm glad you brought that up too, because Jeremiah Love actually might be more expensive than some of these free agent running backs, which is why I do like leaning Travis Etienne, because yeah, paying a running back $10 million a year is kind of a lot, and that's what you're getting when you get Jeremiah Love, because when you pick at pick 9, that pick's about like $8 to $10 million guaranteed, and it's all guaranteed. So I do think Jeremiah Love is going to be worth that money, but you could still get someone like Travis Etienne, and you can have an out in his contract.
I think I'll also play devil's advocate when it comes to Love, though, where it's like, who are the top teams, right now in terms of like just offensive domination? It's like, in the past
James
couple
Cook
years,
on the Bills. James Cook
on the Bills. Saquon
Rams,
Barkley on the Eagles.
The Rams with
Rams
Kyren
had a
Williams
dominant run game with
and
Kyren Williams.
Blake Corum. And then
And K9 going absolutely bonkers in the Super Bowl. It's like
the Seahawks.
with the Seahawks, right?
Yes.
But it's like I just feel like even if we do draft Jeremiah Love, I think in my head that's not our best decision, but in reality, I think if we drafted Jeremiah Love, our offense, regardless of who we have at receivers, with our offensive line, especially running the ball, and now with Eric Bienemey being probably one of the best running back coaches in the league, coaching the offense.
Dude, what he did with Kyle Monungai, too, is crazy. And yes, I get it. Kyle Monungai was supposed to be good. Not that good. Like, he was a 7th-round pick.
And now
like,
imagine that coaching with a guy like Jeremiah Love, right? It's like, at pick 9 right now, I think there's very few ways we miss, which I think is awesome.
Exactly.
Now,
That's
there
what you
are
want.
definitely some ways. I'm not a big Carnell Tate guy. I'm not a big Jordan Tyson guy. But I think if we go a guy like Downs, David Bailey, Jeremiah Love, I'm gonna say it. I'm not the biggest Reuben Bain Jr. guy.
Really? So you used to, but then you looked at tape since we've last spoken.
I looked into him, and it's just I just don't think his game is
Translates to the
going to translate
NFL.
to the NFL as well.
And that's
Because when you
fine.
watch him, when he goes up against the premier like tackles you're going to see in the league in college, the numbers aren't really there. They're
You know
not.
what's the funniest thing though about that too, Garrett? Is like I was not a David Bailey guy, but then I started to watch the tape too, and he has been called a one-trick pony because of his spin move that he gets home with a lot. But honestly, dude, the way the guy that I was watching break down his tape, like he might only need that one trick. Like he still can bull rush, he can still get inside.
Yeah,
but
that was
his,
my
like,
biggest
one
thing
trick-
with that was my thing with my biggest thing with Bain was when I was watching him is like he relies a lot on his core body strength when it comes to just overpowering tackles. You're not going to be able to do that in the league. Like there are very few DNs who can consistently just run over a left or a right tackle in the NFL. Like you can do that against college tackles because like they're not going to have that consistent body strength. They're not going to have that leverage like lockdown. You're not going to be able to do that in the league. Unless you're freak athlete Myles Garrett, right?
Well,
like that's just not going to happen.
It's kind of funny because that's like the opposite of Kingsley. Or, I mean, not the opposite of Kingsley. It's like the same thing with Kingsley, but on the opposite side of the ball. Like Kingsley as a tackle, left tackle prospect was very reliant on, oh, I'm just stronger than everybody. And that's kind of what Reuben Bain is. Oh, I'm just stronger than everybody. And
now, don't get me wrong. Bain has had phenomenal success, and he has been really well crafted in what he can do. I just don't think what he does is going to translate well. And now
that's fine.
that doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player. I think he could be a good player, but is he going to be that value at 9? No,
I don't know. Hopefully,
I don't think so.
I think so.
Obviously,
and that's fair.
Yeah, I just don't
time
think he
will
will.
tell. I do think the arms are shorter. The size isn't exactly where you want to see it, and I'm starting to like David Bailey a lot more too. Now, the reason I want to take edge at pick 9 is because when you're talking contract, that actually does make it like so much more worth it.
Really worth it, yeah. Because I mean, you can get a really good running back for the same price as a early first round pick, but you are not going to get a good edge for first round pick money.
No. In fact, that's what Mike Dana was making. So let's just what we paid Mike Dana is like the cost of what our first round pick is going to cost. So think about it that way, and you start to change your perspective a little bit. Now, again, talking about running backs, we might not even need Jeremiah Love because of what Eric Bieniemy can do with the running backs in the regular season. He had 1,000-yard rusher, and he had a running back with more rushing yards than anybody on our team as the second most rushing yards on the team. So that just to say, what a great coach Eric Bieniemy is going to.
Also, shout out Joe Tooney, who was the leader in that offensive line.
Oh, I had a graphic for it. I would have to go pull it up, but I do have that he did win the first inaugural Offensive Lineman of the Year award. What do they call it, Garrett? The Protector of the Year.
Protector of the Year. Yep, he just beat out Creed, which honestly, two Chiefs legends, baby, deserve. Joe Tooney's been a dog. He multi-time Super Bowl champion. The dude just basically bleeds culture offensive line wise wherever he goes. So well deserved.
Yeah, I was kind of sad that we didn't keep him now in retrospect. But Kingsley, as I've been crapping on him earlier, has actually developed quite well as a guard. And his raw strength is much more applicable there at the guard position.
Yeah. Now, there definitely are some guards in the draft that I would not mind taking just in case Kingsley doesn't work out there. Well, we do need
some more guard help. And actually, Garrett, we're talking O-line. We're talking Protector of the Year. I was able to find my graphic quickly. Thanks for my rambling and stalling, you could call it. Anyway, yeah, speaking of O-line, there was some rumors today about a Rasheed Walker, Packers left tackle, potentially being a Chief target. And to that, I was not skeptical at first. Alex from Chiefs Talk called me out on it because I just posted the news because I was busy, and then I looked into it further. The rumor stems, Garrett, from a anonymous GM saying that the Chiefs and Patriots should look at left tackle Rasheed Walker, basically just driving up his price. We don't need a left tackle. I think that would be a boneheaded decision to get Rasheed Walker. Because we did the opposite with Jawan. We signed a right tackle to play left tackle, and this would be the opposite of signing a left tackle to play right tackle. Unless.
Yeah, I just feel like the only reason I could see that being the case is, under the radar, the Chiefs know about a similar situation again that's going to happen with what Josh Simmons did throughout the season, which at this point, who knows, right? That was such a unique situation to have happen that we still really have no idea what really happened in those games that he was missing. I could see them, if we happen to sign a left tackle, maybe that's in precaution. But there are some tackles in the draft that I have looked at and I like, and we could get a couple maybe in the later rounds. I wouldn't want one early. I know I've
sent you a Penn State guy there too, Garrett, that you like.
Yeah, Nolan Rucci. He's a dog. He's pretty good. When it
Garrett,
comes to
Penn State enjoyer, apparently.
Hey, I mean they have a good roster. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they have one of the highest touted guards in the draft this year too, with Ione or Lone or whatever his name is. But he's a dog too. I like the kid out of Oregon, Pregnon. I think anyone who's drafting guard in like the late first, early second is probably going to hit, regardless of who they take. Later on though, Bo Stevens out of Iowa. Like, I know Jackson's probably just cursed the wind right now when I even mention the name. But Bo Stevens, really solid guard out of Iowa. Some people are mocking Kobe Baines, guard at a KU. I'm not too high on him, but you never know. There is a center. Let me check his. Yeah, Pat Coogan, Indiana baby. He has played every position on the line interior wise. He's an absolute stud, a dog. He could absolutely just be that depth piece that we need. Could fit in anywhere. And who best to learn under center than the best center in the league, Creed Humphrey?
Well, hey, and I don't think he'll ever have to play center, but we really don't have a good backup center, so it would be nice to have him have that ability to come in and play center if something dangerous
Pat Coogan's been a dog.
But he's also can play guard. He could start at guard, and that's like the other thing too. Like he could low key push for that left guard spot.
Only person I'll give this guy a shout out. The only person I could see us taking at 9 tackle wise is the tackle from Miami, Francis Mayoga. Dude's not even 21, absolute stud. I'm gonna say it. I'm not a Spencer Fano fan. I know he's getting a lot of like high touts. Not the biggest guy. Caleb Lomu. I think he's okay. I think he'll be a good tackle. I just don't think he's going to be worth that spot. I like a lot of the later tackles though. I like Nolan Rucci. Obviously, we talked about earlier from Penn State. Cage Casey out of Boise State. I'm looking into him
That's
a little bit.
name.
He's been okay. Other than that, I mean, tackles honestly not too deep in this class. You're not going to find too much help, especially at the right tackle side. Late
Comparatively to last year, which was a great tackle class, and hilariously so, because Garett, I just can't help but remember all the media people saying this O-line class last year was going to suck, and then it's probably the best one in a long time. Like everyone hit. Hey, even some people are apparently saying Josh Connerly is good now. Some Commanders fans are saying that he wasn't actually as bad as me and you think he is, but
and I guess the other two, the other Iowa guy, Gennings Dunker, he's a tackle from Iowa. He was pretty solid, and Brian Parker out of Duke, he's pretty good too.
Well, we're going to know more about these prospects here coming up as the NFL Combine is underway as we're filming this right now. No 40 times have happened yet, to my understanding. I feel like I would have seen that in my timeline. I know the linebackers checked in yesterday because we would have seen what Arvell Reese is actually about, because I don't know what to make of Arvell Reese. I have a friend of mine who's a Jets fan, and at 2, he wants Arvell Reese really bad. And I'm like, do you want Arvell Reese at 2? Because he's such a tweener build, but we don't need to talk about Jets because the Chiefs are not going to draft Arvell Reese unless he falls.
They wouldn't even. There's zero chance he falls to us at 9.
I don't
Literally impossible.
You never know. He could have a bad combine, although he probably is going to.
I will say though, I know I'm a big Caleb Downs guy. If he fell to us at 9,
yes,
and safety is one of our biggest needs. I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. I actually really like this safety class. I think there are some absolute studs. At the safety position in this. Caleb Downs, Dylan Thieneman, AJ Halsey, who if we drafted AJ Halsey, I am going to literally go crazy if we do a live and we're watching the draft, because he is just a monster. Just a monster.
Is that the LSU kid?
He's the LSU kid. Really nice. Yeah, Cole Wisniewski, Texas Tech safety, also a dog. I'm just really excited about this draft. This year, man. I haven't really looked this deep into a draft class before, but there are just some absolute gems.
I'm glad you're invested in it this year. I'm glad you're looking into it more, because I think you've actually done more research this year than I have, and I need to get on my P's and Q's and start looking. Well, I mean,
we've had a lot more time. I think the last 3 games of the season, I was kind of checked out. Obviously, watched the boys in red. But
you had other things.
Little more
too.
focused.
We watched a little bit more college ball this year because we're like, well, they might need to get these players. But I mean, there's a lot of sleepers that I've been tweeting that I'm excited about. Let's just show our mock drafts, because we're talking about it so much, and then we'll wrap the day off. I'll go mine first.
The 1.0s, huh?
Oh, the really early one. The one from before. This is before me and Garett even looked at all the stuff that we're talking about now. But I mean, because a key messenger now, we talked about him at the top of the show. Garett was saying he's like 25. He's been playing for a long, long time.
He was a college teammate with Myles Garrett. Just put that into perspective. It's true. I swear to God.
I don't believe you. You know what, Garett? If that's true, that's crazy. But then you have Caleb Downs, who I think is the best player in the entire draft. You said Jeremiah Love was the best player.
They're both studs.
I think Caleb Downs might be. But like you said, it's a deep safety class. So do you want to take a safety at 9? If he's there, I do. But Emmett Johnson, I talked about earlier. I love that guy. I think he's going to be an absolute beast. He's getting so underrated on his power. Everyone's like, oh, if he only had power in his running. I was like, clearly you didn't watch Nebraska football. I know there wasn't much reason to, especially after Raiola got hurt. But dude, Emmett Johnson, he's an absolute dog, and he can get those yards, and he also can catch out of the backfield. So a great value in the 3rd round. And then Malik Muhammad, I think he just has the measurables, and I think he's clutch, and I liked a lot of his game at Texas. I think he's got a lot to work on, but he was rising in the Senior Bowl. So this is, again, before the Senior Bowl even, we made this. This is so old.
This is way long ago.
But Tanner Kozel is not going to be there in the 5th. he's not going to be there in the 5th round because he rose so much in the Senior Bowl. He's a dog, 6'7". He's huge. He catches the football. He runs the great routes. He does everything you want. Back shoulder fades. He's like what we use Jody Fortson for, except he'd actually be a full-time tight end and actually be good. Because people forget Jody Fortson was making some crazy jump ball catches to Mahomes. We haven't really had a jump ball guy like that in a long, long time. Yeah, Jackson did fact check you, Garrett. I think you might have fell for a meme, but Akeem Messeter started college in 2020, and Miles
maybe
Garrett
it wasn't.
was...
Yeah. Actually, you're so right. I am just. Yeah, that was a bar moment. It might have been a different NFL player that I saw, but regardless, Akeem Messeter was really old, and regardless, obviously, number one, Jeremiah Love at pick 9. When I drafted this initially, my process was, who am I taking if my 4 tops were gone? And it's got to be Love. Dude's a dog, going to be a stud, going to be, probably a generational running back. I feel like a lot of people love to throw around the term generational, but I mean, when it comes to pure prospects and production, this kid's at least one of them, right? And then we talked about it earlier, AJ Halsey at LSU. If we got him at 40, oh my God, I am going to go absolutely insane. Derek Moore, D-end out of Michigan. In this draft, obviously you don't take one of those edges in the first round, so we have to at least, address the position a little bit. We're incredibly thin there. We have little depth. We just let go on Mike Danna, so we're even thinner now. There's probably a couple other guys at 3 that I might take now at D-end over Derek Moore.
Yeah, now that we've seen a little bit of Senior Bowl.
Now that we've seen a little bit, right? But when it comes to, hey, there were some people in your comment section when we posted this talking trash about Skylar Gill-Howard. That kid is a dog. I'm going to bat for Skylar Gill-Howard for him to be on our team because he hasn't played a ton of snaps. He was that rotational guy at Texas Tech, but when he was in there, he produced. And that's what we need at D-line. We need a guy that can stuff the run and can produce when it matters, and that's Skylar Gill-Howard, baby.
You know who he feels like a good replacement for? Tershawn Wharton. He feels Tershawn Wharton.
He is Turk Wharton, dude.
He's fast, he's nimble, but he's big, and he can still stuff the run. He can still make plays. I loved his game at Toledo. I actually didn't know that he transferred to Texas Tech last year because I was just a big fan of his at Toledo, and then I just kind of forgot about him until you mentioned him again. And I was like, oh, wow, he was on Tech last year? Oh, that's crazy. So his Toledo tape from a year ago to me says that he's going to be good. Sure, at Texas Tech, he might not have gotten to play because they basically bought a football team, so they paid NIL money to everybody, so he just fell on the depth chart, but still a good player, Garrett. I agree. I would bat for him as well.
Yeah, Aiden Fisher, at the time, I was kind of, on the Indiana hype because I think I made this like pretty close to right after the national championship game.
Yeah.
Liked how he played in the game. Obviously we are pretty thin at linebacker as well, and he kind of fits into that spot where we really don't have that true coverage linebacker. I love Nick Bolton. He's a great run stuffer. But just really lacks in the coverage game when it comes to linebackers. I probably wouldn't take Fisher here.
We were also talking about how Mike Danna got cut. I think Drew Tranquil might get cut next, and if that does happen, you need another linebacker, especially in this draft. I think Bassa will play a lot, and I think he'll play well. Very excited for Bassa to break out, but you need to get another linebacker, maybe. But it could be addressed.
Yeah, I would probably go somewhere. Actually, you know who I would take at round 5? I would take Bryce Lance. That's who I'm taking in the 5th round. I'm taking my wide receiver Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State. But Nolan Rucci to finish it out.
Trey Lance and you got Bryce Lance from North Dakota State. That's all I remember.
Finish it out with Nolan Rucci. He's just been a lock at right tackle. He's just been really solid. Not a lot of pressures, not a lot of sacks. Good in the run game. He would be a pretty solid. I mean, when it comes to right tackle, we've got some guys that could fit in there right now. I could see us picking up a free agent, but that's going to be one of the positions of who is going to fill in that spot at the start of the season. Is it going to be a guy we have in the draft? Is it going to be a guy like Jalen Moore? Is it going to be a guy like Esapole, who's going to fit in there and start at right tackle? We have no idea at this point.
Yeah, you're right, because Jalen Moore and Esapole right now are better at left tackle than right tackle. So are they really going to be the answer at right tackle?
Now, I will say I think Esapole is better at right tackle than Jalen Moore. Now, are they phenomenal right tackles? I don't think so. I think they can be.
Esapole
has shown
right tackle.
Yeah, Esapole has shown a lot of potential. And I think me and you were both right on the nose when we released him in the preseason
That it was the
last
wrong
year.
decision.
And it was the wrong decision. Everyone knew it was the wrong decision. And we get him back, and he's balling out when we have some injuries. But I will say, when it comes down to it, I think this is going to be a really good. I think I've been seeing a lot of sayings that this isn't really going to be a great draft class, and I disagree. There's a lot of talent to be seen. I just don't think, obviously there's not great quarterbacks, right? Like there's not these.
Not be good as this last year, but it's still gonna be solid.
Yeah. I still think it's gonna be a really solid draft class. I think it's gonna be average, like average out better than last year. Like there's way better top tier guys in last year's draft, but I think overall as an average, I think we'll see better production out of this class than last class.
That's a really good point. I do think last year's draft class was really top heavy. Like the first 32 players, the first 40 players were really, really good, but I feel like there were less sleepers and steals. I
can really see some depth in like these 5th and 6th rounds this year.
But you always have like sleepers and steals every year. Obviously, Kyle Monangai, who we spoke about earlier on the show. But I mean, yeah, I did feel like there was less like volume in this class. There were some good late corners. I mean, even us, we drafted Noel Williams late, and who knows, Bossa could be something. But yeah,
right.
Well, I named this episode, and I'm probably going to change the title now. But for those viewers who made it this far, I named it Trent McDuffie Extension ? Because it's been reported today Brett Veach does want to, in fact, extend Trent McDuffie. And this actually was information that I've known for a while because our friend Alex at Chiefs Talk has been posting about Trent McDuffie extension is what Kansas City wants to do all the way back February 6th. And he has been receiving a lot of hate online from people like Lance the Spoken and all those guys who just hate the idea that we extend Trent McDuffie. That would be the worst decision for the Chiefs. We need to trade him for a first-round pick immediately. We cannot pay him. He sucks. He's too short. All of a sudden we hate him because every single Chiefs media outsource is saying to trade him. So now we're sheep and we're going to say trade him, trade him, trade him. We know better than Veach. No. This is an all-pro. This is not the L'Jarius Sneed situation. L'Jarius Sneed was older, and he was also very highly coveted in trade value, and was coming off of a huge injury that ended up impacting him to the point where he hasn't been able to play on the Titans at all because he was injured. Like, we're not going to pay Sneed because he's hurt. And that was really the big deciding factor in why the Chiefs moved on from Sneed. It's not to say they won't pay a corner, because you have Jalen Watson as another impending free agent. I saw somebody in my comments say they'd rather pay $13 million to Jalen Watson and get rid of McDuffie. And I'm like, dude, an extension saves money. It pushes
there
it
are
down
legitimate robots that are in your comment section. I'm gonna be honest. Like, we love all the comments. We love our fans. But sometimes you guys just like need to reflect. Like, look in the mirror, realize what you just said, and then just never talk football again. I'm gonna be honest.
Here's the thing about Jalen Watson. Do I think he deserves $13 million? Yes, I do. Do I think that move makes sense for the Chiefs? Absolutely not.
No.
Because who is Jalen Watson remind me of? Mike Danna, Nick Allegretti,
role player that performed well, boosted his value, and he's not going to play to the value that he's designated.
Exactly. Those are good players. Good players. I loved having role players on those teams when they were cheap. They go off to other places and get a bag, and they're not really worth the bag, but for those teams, they are worth the bag because the Panthers aren't paying anyone else. So them paying Tershawn Wharton $10 million a year is a great signing for them. For us, it wouldn't have been. It might have been better than signing Danna, but who knows? Okay, well, but anyway, like the point is, and signing Christian Fulton, the point is that Watson is not going to be worth it for us in that regard. He also is coming off of an injury, mind you, and I love Jalen Watson. He also posted his farewell already. So what fantasy land are we living in already? It's funny because Trent McDuffie is one of the only players who hasn't posted his farewell. I mean, yes, he has one more year under contract, but we're going to extend him. It makes it cheaper for this year. If we extend him, he's cheaper this year.
Here's my thing. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit.
You should. Because this episode's already really long.
And like, if the situation arises, it's late in the draft. It's pick 28. Maybe even 27. And we have our either premier edge rusher, premier running back, good wide receiver, or Caleb Downs. And we have the opportunity to trade up, let's say with the Rams. Rams have a good pick. They need a cornerback. And we could take a guy like Kristen Miller out of Georgia and really solidify our interior D-line for a long time, especially with the way that the NFL's been going and they're leaning more towards the run game recently. Look, I understand. I love McDuffie. If we can keep him with the value and we can get, a good deal out of him and not have it be crazy cap numbers, absolutely keep him. But like, I know we actually kind of skipped over D tackles. Kristen Miller, dude. Oh my God. If we have the opportunity to trade up into the first, potentially, I don't think, I saw people saying we're going to get like a second round, like an early second round pick and like a third. I'm like, no, that's not what we're going to, like, guys, I understand we just had a big cornerback trade in the middle of the season for 2 first round picks, whatever. He plays a different position. I know it says cornerback. Guys, there are levels to this, right? He is not an outside corner. He's a slot. They are valued very differently. He's a great slot. One of the best slots. Probably the best slot corner in the league, right? He's not getting 2 firsts. He's maybe getting a late first at most. That's probably the most you're going to get for him.
And the thing is he's not under contract. Sauce Gardner had 5 years left in his
deal. He had 5 years, right? So I think that's the one situation I would want to trade McDuffie for, is like if we can get a guy like Kristen Miller and like, oh man, that would be.
You're right on the sense of like our defensive line, our D tackles have not been addressed really, and we were gonna have to pay big. I'm curious.
The kid's 21. The kid's 21.
He's
anchored one of the better D lines in college football for the last 2 years, and he's just a stud.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really want to trade him just because of what I've heard, and also because I don't know. I mean, this is a good corner class. It's not my favorite corner class.
Yeah, it's definitely more safety heavy than corner heavy.
But also, I'm looking at the defensive line available right now for the interior, and it's honestly really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
You have like the top guys, like you have Banks and you have Kristen Miller and you have Woods.
No. I'm not talking about the draft. I'm talking about free agency.
Free agency? Yeah, no, there's nobody. Nobody.
David Onyemata is projected the top market guy. And I mean, Calais Campbell, I guess. Actually, I would love to bring Calais Campbell in. I take that back. Calais Campbell, please and thank you for 1 year. Be our Terrell Suggs, kind of like plug in one last year of your career, one last hurrah. But there is nobody, Garrett. There is nobody. Like Sebastian Joseph Day, I guess, but he's washed. I mean, John Franklin Myers was kind of good. Yeah. Like, I mean, these guys are not it. Oh my God. It's all washed players. And I guess like.
Yeah. I will say though, I think my last point about this draft, before we start ending off, is I would hate to be early and really corner needy, because the top like 3 corners, Monsieur Delane was awesome this year, was pretty, I would say, mid to average last year. So like, is the consistency going to be there? And then you got, Jermon McCoy, who was awesome last year, but he was injured all this year. So it's like, I would hate to, like I understand we're thinking about even trading a corner. Probably not. But like, I would hate to be up early, like those like 10, 11, maybe even 8 if they're going early, and picking corner. Because it's a rough decision.
So at this point, it's like I'd rather keep the corner we have that's good, because I don't want to be picking a new one. I don't think we could replace him this season. And then you have a corner room if you lose McDuffie, because you're not going to trade. You're not going to keep Jalen Watson as much as everybody thinks that you can. You can't. Like if we do, I'll eat my hat, because there's just no way that the money's going to work. And he also posted a farewell.
I would sooner trade Nick Bolton than McDuffie.
Yeah, me too. And the thing is. I mean, you're looking at that corner room next year with McDuffie, and it's Noel Williams, McDuffie, and Christian Fulton.
Because we're talking about crazy contracts. Nick Bolton's contract, you know me, I've been a Bolton guy forever, but like the way he plays linebacker does not constitute top linebacker money, which he has.
Well, maybe now it does with the run game being back. So I mean maybe he can stuff the run, and
but like the amount of times I've seen this dude fall at the feet of some, third string tight end. Who was the guy that scored against us with that third string tight end? Whatever.
Oh, it's the Colts game?
I'm getting angry. Regardless. Like, there's a lot of options we can do when it comes to the cap. We can get draft capital in certain ways, but When it comes down to it, we have a decision to make at pick 9, and the rest falls after that.
Regardless, this is Talkin Chop, and we had a great episode. We went longer than I thought we were going to. When I looked at the 37-minute mark, I'm like, oh, okay, good. We can have a quick episode. But here we are, an hour, 4 minutes into the show. And guys, it's so good to be back. We'll try to be more regular. Like I said, I just got a full-time job now, so it's going to be a little harder. But it is more 9 to 5, Garrett, instead of on the road and adventurous freelancing production like I have been. I just worked 9 baseball games back to back to back this last weekend, so it's been brutal. Some college baseball games. Shout out the Cornhuskers. They beat Florida State in college men's baseball. If you guys watch that, they beat Florida State in an absolute destructive manner. So, hey, get that ranked win, baby. But, yeah, guys, I'm so excited about this draft, this free agency process. I can't wait to see what fast players are coming out of the 40-yard dash in the combine. I can't wait to look at linebackers and DNs and interior defensive linemen, and I can't wait to talk more chop with you. Garrett, do you have any closing remarks for us today?
Hey, man, don't talk ball if you don't know how to talk ball in the comments. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow, Garrett, I like having comments. You know, it does help.
No, comments are great. But if you're saying that we should pay Jalen Watson $13 million a year and trade McDuffie, maybe just go watch soccer. I'm going to be honest.
Garrett, you're going to make our comment section hate you, all right? I love all of everyone's opinions, and I want their comments so that we can argue and talk about them, because this is Talking Chop, and all chop is welcome, even if you say stuff like that. Oh, God.
Sometimes the chop is bad. I don't know what to say.
Sometimes the chop is chopped.